Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Rave Green TV. And this is going to be your preview for the Seattle Sounders match this upcoming Saturday against Real Salt Lake. This will be their second match of the MLS season and their first match away from home. And it's going to be me, Nick, and Atif. The gang is back together, and we're going to be doing our preview for this match. So to touch upon it a little bit, you guys all heard my thoughts on last night's game, and maybe the reactions weren't the best from a lot of people. They thought some of the takes I had was kind of bad, this and that, but luckily we have two other people to give their opinions. Atif and Nick will briefly touch upon their thoughts on last night's game to transition into what we're hoping for this weekend against Real Salt Lake. Boys, what were your thoughts on last night's match?
Thoughts on last night's match? It would match what you said. I don't know what other people are on about on Twitter, but it was pretty embarrassing. If you actually watched the game, you could tell this was not the way the Sounders play. All the diehard fans saying embarrassing is the wrong word. I'm sorry. As much as I love the Sounders and I want to defend them, that was an embarrassing game just based on the way how we played. Nashville was all over us. Their system trumped our system. And unfortunately, we only had one shot on target. Nashville was much more likely to score, and they unfortunately did at the 80th minute. And around the second half, when we were still playing the same way we did in the first half, I was kind of hoping for a draw. I was thinking, maybe a draw would be a positive result just based on the way we played. It wasn't anything respectable. We weren't knocking the ball around. We weren't taking the ball, switching it around our defense, and we weren't trying to whip those dangerous crosses in like the Sounders usually try to do. It's what I call Schmetzer ball. The Sounders weren't able to play Schmetzer ball at all yesterday, just like how we usually do in the last few years. Yeah, of course, Schmetzer ball could get pretty annoying to see when we're not scoring, because I like to call it pass, cross, nothing happens. But that's how we ultimately win games, is playing that crossing game. A big mistake from the Sounders lineup that I noticed was we tried to use the 4-back system as we did many, many years ago. The 3-back or shadow 5-back system that we like to play, that we've been playing for the last 2 seasons, it's been working for us. We had a very strong start to last season. Unfortunately, we had a terrible end to it. But the year before, when we made the MLS Cup with that 3-back system, it was working fine. I don't know why Schmetzer decided to use the 4-2-3-1 formation. I think we play better with the 3-back system because the players know that system. But for the Nashville game, we saw Alex Roldan struggling back there. He was trying to keep up with that 4-back system, but he couldn't.
I would even add on to that Nuhu struggles as a left back as well. In my opinion, I think Nuhu plays his best in a 3-back of 3 center backs is one of the left of the 3 center backs. I think he plays his best there, but whenever Nuhu's bombing up forward as well. And yeah, again, Alex also struggled to a fair amount as well in the outside back. But whenever Nuhu's bombing up forward, he doesn't know what he's doing in that final third. And, he struggles, all he's doing is just kicking, very like youth soccer-esque. He just kicks the ball forward and just sprints at it, which isn't good. There's no creativity. There's no fluidity. And it's just not something you want to see. And to a certain degree, I agree with Nick, honestly, because, I think the reason he changed it was, I'm not saying he changed it because of criticisms, but criticisms people had was, we were lacking creativity with the 5 in the back because we're playing more defensive. But I feel like we were the most creative with that 5 in the back formation. I believe we reverted to this 4-back, so we have more offensive ability and creativity with the best front 6 in MLS. But that wasn't the case, and that's not what we saw. But Atif, I mean, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it was a rough outing, to say the least. It's definitely not the result that, you'd want in a home opener, especially a team that's, a brand new team to the Western Conference. It's a team that we haven't played before in Nashville. We definitely wanted to see, I was really hoping that we could see some spillover from the game against Motagua, but obviously, like, 5-goal performances, 5-goal games don't come around every single day. But I have to agree that I feel it was disappointing, and I think disappointing, personally, in my opinion, is an understatement. I think that's putting it lightly, because I'm aware that fellow fans out there will make the argument that not having Rui Diaz available hurts, and it definitely does. He's a great player, but we talk about depth. We hear players and coaches and fans talk about next man up. it's specifically for moments like this where you need to have that philosophy in place. So if a player isn't available, you still need to find a way to create opportunities. And Nashville is a very good team, you got to give them credit, but we know that we're capable of doing more than what we did last night. So what I'm really interested in seeing is after the game in the press conference, Brian Schmetzer talked about lack of tempo. He felt like the guys weren't really keeping this high level of tempo. What I want to see is how they're going to accomplish that in RSL this Saturday.
I agree. I think the RSL game is a game that now Sounders, they can make it up to us. Honestly, we could all forgive the Sounders if they have a good performance. It doesn't even have to be a good one. As long as they win, I want to see a goal. It's the only two things I ask for in this life. I want to see a goal from open play and I want to see a win. That's it. Because it seems like, as crazy as it is, we all know that Lumen Field, CenturyLink Field is a fortress. But I feel like now for the past 2 seasons, we've now weirdly become more of a road team than a home team. And Nick kind of touched upon that, how there was a point in the game where we're like, okay, I think at this point we'll take a draw, no big deal, because Nashville are all over us. Teams have been coming here, for example, like Sporting Kansas City, and have been wiping the floor against us. And that's not good to see, because our home field should be a fortress that no one can take any points off of us on. And it's a little bit concerning also to add that to it as well. But the Salt Lake game, it's away from home. I believe a place we haven't won in since that 2013 playoff game. I believe is the last time we won in Salt Lake. In regards to MLS, I believe it's 2011. We haven't won at Rio Tinto Stadium. So this game, it's gone a draw written all over it. But this is a game we have to win now. A draw would not be an acceptable result because we lost against Nashville. And watching the highlights of RSL's first game against Houston Dynamo were unlucky to have not come out with 3 points in their home game. Salt Lake played very defensively, had a lot of half chances, but no clear-cut chances. But I think we're now going to be that team like Salt Lake was at Houston, where we're going to be playing with half chances. Again, no Rui Diaz for this game. Would you say maybe Samuel Adura maybe deserves a second go at it? I personally think he does, because he only got a half to play. And in all honesty, we didn't even play to his strengths, in all honesty. I mean, again, Nick mentions it a bit. He hints at it that we're not playing to our team's strengths. And that was a part of it too. We have a big guy and he's known as Big Sam, Samuel Adura up top. We did not play to his strengths. We played to his weaknesses. And that's why he ended up getting subbed out. But what are you guys hoping for?
I'm hoping to see a start from Leo Chu next week. And another big thing is I hope we go back to our 3-back system. That's a proven formation. I think Schmetzer's trying to fix something that isn't broken. So I just want to see the Sounders revert back to their old ways as they were playing last summer, last spring. I don't want to see this continuation of fall 2021 Sounders right here. As you touched up upon this, we haven't scored a goal in open play in 7 matches? That's not a good stat. Carrying on from last season, we're not playing as big as we can. I think this game on Saturday against Salt Lake could be a fantastic opportunity for the Sounders to make up that home loss, to make up everything that happened at the end of last season, to give Ochoa a taste of his own medicine. I hope Fry plays very, very annoyingly to piss off all of those Salt Lake fans, just like what Ochoa did to us last fall.
Yeah, what I want to see is, Coach Schmetzer, he talked about it in the post-match press conference, but some tempo, want to see some tempo, being reintroduced by the Sounders. I'm really going to look at Albert Rusnak because, look, you're coming back to Salt Lake. I'm not sure if the breakup, for lack of a better phrase, was amicable, if it was clean. I'm not sure how the fans will react once he's introduced. I would like to believe that he will be very involved. If we're going to see more creativity and more tempo, I think that Albert Rusnak will but I would like to see him be a big part of it, or be the centerpiece of it. I really, really would like to see that.
What do you think is your guys' score predictions for this weekend's game?
It really depends on who we start. it could be another embarrassing loss, or it could be a fantastic win. I think a 3-4-3 formation would really benefit the Sounders if Schmetzer finally starts Leo Chu, because you can have Leo Chu on one side, Morse on the other side, Bruin in the middle. I think that would be a fantastic combination. It's really frustrating to see the Sounders underperform when we have the firepower to win, but we're not using those options. So really the way how this result goes is up to Brian Schmetzer on which team he picks and what system he decides to use, because it seems like he definitely tried out that 4-3-2-1 formation, which I'm sorry, that's the old Sounders, that classic four-back formation. So we should really look at what we're doing more of the first half of last season, go back to that. It's a system that's proved to work. So I think if all the stars align, it could be a solid 1-0, 2-1 victory for the Sounders. If we make the right decisions, if Schmetzer makes the right team. If not, if it's a similar lineup to what we saw for the Nashville game, we'll be lucky with the draw.
I think the Sounders will come out of this game with a 1-0 win. I'm saying that very optimistically and very cautiously, but I think the Sounders will do that because Will Bruin will score the game winner. That is my prediction as to what will happen. But no, in all seriousness, I would like to believe that the Sounders will get it done and will get the 3 points. We need to see some tempo. We need to see something different. And I want to make quickly going back to the point we were making earlier with some fans disagreeing with the use of the word embarrassing. The reason why some fans use such terms is because we know what this team is capable of. Like in the press conference yesterday, Christian Roldan said, hey, look, being able to sub somebody like Nico Ladero into a game, that's a luxury that very few other teams have. So that's why we really want to see the Sounders get things cooking, really show some creativity, get that tempo up there. And then, I'm cautiously optimistic that the Sounders will right the wrong happen on Sunday night against Nashville.
I think I'm totally on board with what Atif and Nick are saying. It just depends on the lineup. Don't get me wrong, like not to totally bash the 4-back formation. We have seen some bright sparks. I think Steph has played really well, but that's kind of a given. Steph is always usually plays well, but Obed Vargas in particular as well has played really well in this formation, but it's only one person. So I guess you can't just build a whole team around Obed Vargas, but it depends on this lineup that we play this weekend. Depends on who Brian's going to play. I'm not going to be surprised. I think I'm making a name for myself as a Debbie Downer on this channel, but it would not surprise me if Brian plays the same lineup we played this weekend, maybe switching just Samuel Ladurin for Will Bruin, but the exact same lineup, which would be frustrating because it doesn't make sense because we didn't win, but that would be something Brian would do. Not because I'm questioning Brian's tactics. I get it. He's got us to 4 MLS Cup finals. But something again to think about with that before you comment, we only scored. It's going to hit you hard if you didn't know this. We only scored in one of those MLS Cup finals. Think about that, people. We scored one time. We won 2 MLS Cups. We only scored in one of them. If we don't win this weekend, not saying Brian should get sacked, but the question's got to be starting to get pointed out with Brian Schmetzer because, as I said, we have the players, we have the team. It comes down to tactics, and the main person for tactics is Brian Schmetzer. So it's just something to think about. I'm always going to back Brian Schmetzer, but there's something that has gone off. We mentioned it, maybe Gonzo Pineda, Jimmy Traore, Freddie Juarez maybe hasn't been a good assistant coach appointment. I don't know. We don't know exactly what goes on in it. Depends on the lineup. Regardless on who we play, who we don't play, I'm going with a 2-1 Real Salt Lake win. I think this has gone one of those early season Rio Tinto away games written all over it. If we drew maybe against Nashville, I feel more optimistic about we could finally break that duck and win at Salt Lake. If I were to put my bottom dollar on it, I'll say 2-1. If I were to put my Sounders cap on, I'd say we're slapping these guys up 3-0 because we're the best team in the world. But I have to be realistic, and I'm going to say 2-1 Real Salt Lake. But regardless of our opinions, let us know in the comments down below. What do you guys think the score prediction is? What are players, things to look out for against Real Salt Lake? What are your guys' thoughts on the match against Nashville? Let us know in the comments down below. Don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe if you're not subscribed already, and I hope you all have a lovely day.